All right, where's our oil? Engine oil? There's nothing on the dipstick. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to HR Repair. This is Ray, and today we have a Hyundai Santa Fe. It's the all-wheel drive version, and it has a problem. And the problem is it loses power and has times when she can barely keep it running. So we're going to dig into this thing and see what we can figure out. So on these Hyundais, if you remember, I think maybe you don't, I don't know, but I believe I did a YouTube short here a couple months ago on a Hyundai Santa Fe that I had, and Hyundai had an issue with the high pressure fuel pump. These are the GDI model GDI. Let's get the hood popped. I've already hooked up the scan tool to it. We'll get this hood popped and I'll show you the engine. But these things have an issue with the high pressure fuel pump going bad, and that is right underneath here. It's very easy to change. However, they did do an extended warranty on the high pressure fuel pump, and if you understand how a GDI works, it works like a diesel. The injectors direct inject right into the cylinders. So there's a fuel pump, low pressure fuel pump, and then a high pressure fuel pump. The high pressure fuel pump pumps it up to about 3,000 to 4,000 psi, and it atomizes better. The downside of that is you have more valve issues with these than you did with the old ones. There's no fuel running across the valve to keep it clean. But that fuel pump has issues. That one acted just like what the customer described for us. So we're going to get into this thing. I told her I'm guessing that it might be something along the lines of the fuel pump, but we don't want to guess. We want to check it out. And she doesn't think it's going to be under warranty anyway, and I kind of would tend to think that that sentiment is correct, because I do have the key in here. Thank you very much. Hey, way, the battery's dead. Well, okay, we'll get the jump pack. All right, I got my Mac Tools jump pack on it. Let's see what happens now. Before we start it, I'm just going to show you guys how many miles it's got on it. 192,625 miles on the odometer. So what the customer said happens is that we have an issue with it rattles and it doesn't have any power. They were able to shut it off and restart it and get it to go again, but it just doesn't have any power. It can't hardly pull itself. So the last time I had that, it was going into limp mode. We're going to do a system scan on our scan tool here, and we're going to see if we can come up with any kind of codes. Now, it had fuel pressure codes, or the last one I did had fuel pressure codes. This one has no fuel pressure codes. It has camshaft position on bank 1 and bank 2, but only a circuit range on bank 2 for the sensor. Well, this is why we should never assume. I was pretty confident with the customer that this is a fuel pump problem, and yeah, well, okie dokie. You would think after a while I would quit getting so confident that but it just sounded the same. There, still don't get too overconfident. All right, let's see what else is in here, if there is anything. that might get us to something. Full drive control actuator, that's nothing there. Yeah, camshaft position faults. The permanent codes are going to be the timing over advanced or system performance bank 1 and 2. Well, you know what? Timing over advanced or system performance. Okay, let's, this is, we might have timing chain issues. But first we need to check our oil, because oil level can cause that issue as well. Not too concerned about the sensor A circuit range performance. We need to get these other two checked out before we do much of anything else. But yeah, I don't know. Timing chains on this one? Ooh, I don't want to do that. Let's go ahead and check the oil and see. Just make sure it's not low in oil. Not a sponsor, but that thing works pretty good. Alright, where's our oil? Engine oil? There's nothing on the dipstick. Nada. Let me dip that again just to make sure. This is not good. The chains don't look incredibly terrible. So what happens is these engines are activated, the phasers are activated by oil, the tensioners are activated by oil. A lot of things are activated by oil in this, and if it's low in oil, the phasers are usually the first thing that lack oil. Fortunately, because it probably saves a lot of engines. I'm not even going to start this thing right now, so before we do that, we're going to add oil to it. This is kind of a catch-22, because if we add oil to it and it fixes the problem, we're not going to be able to really tell unless we drive it some, because we haven't had a lot of before data. But I don't want to get a lot of before data without adding some oil. So yeah, we're just gonna add a little bit of Mobil 1. We don't need to get the good shapers in there. All right, let's add, I mean, it's probably gonna take the majority of this, but we're gonna add, let's see if we can do, as Rain Man Ray calls it, pouring things. It's windy out here. Nope, I can't. We're gonna add at least 2 quarts of oil. Man, I cannot pour for nothing. You got the wind. We're gonna add this whole thing, because if this takes care of the issue, I'm gonna take and do an oil change anyway. So if it's a little over full in oil, it's not gonna hurt anything. All right, that truck needs something. All right, that truck's been here for a while and it is getting junked, so you know, I am going to get that Mobil 1 oil back, or jug back, but I just needed someplace to put it. because it's windy out here and I didn't want it laying in the drive. Okay. Let's start this thing up and see if it rattles. Oh. We thought we would start it up. Our jump pack is not holding up the charge. Why? And we should be charging that jump pack a little bit. Let's see if it'll at least get it started here. Ooh, whoa! It rattles real bad. When it first started, I don't know if you guys heard that or not. Ooh. It's starting to quiet down some, but I don't like it. Alright, let's go into live data for a little bit here and just see what we have in live data. We're gonna watch our cam movement. It has quieted down quite a bit, but wow, that rattle almost made me pucker up a little bit. Okay, we still got a little bit of variation. I don't know if you guys can see that. I know this thing sometimes has a little hard time picking up very well, but desired position and actual position, they're moving some, but it's not terrible. I would say this thing's got some wear in the phasers, because the phaser's not supposed to be moving at all right now. There's no duty cycle, so it's not even trying to move the phasers, but they're moving some, so that tells me that they've got a little bit of wear to them. But I would expect that, considering how badly it rattled when we started it up, and with our oil level, my goodness. Okay, we're gonna take it on a drive, then we're gonna come back. If it hasn't malfunctioned on us, we're gonna come back and I'll check the oil level again. I just kind of want to know how low it actually was. You know, I added 3 quarts. There was 3 quarts in that jug, so I added 3 quarts. We'll see how it responds. I mean, the engine sounds okay now. There's no rod knock, which is good. Like I said, the phasers are still, I mean, the timing is still varying some, which it will some, but that one does seem a little bit more than normal. We'll run this thing, get some oil flowing through there, and then just, I guess, see what happens. But my guess is we probably took care of the issue. It should be able to run at least. Bank 1 is actually moving more than bank 2. I seen it a little above 1 degree a while ago, so yep, just there like that. I'm not sure that that's going to be anything to worry about just yet, but we definitely have shortened the life of that timing chain and the phasers by running them out of oil like that. So what happens is, if these things lose oil pressure and the phaser loses the ability to hold its position, then your timing goes off too far and the thing will put it in limp mode to try to protect itself. And that's probably what happened, why it had to be restarted. And then restarting it probably, well, leaving it set and restarting it probably got the oil, the aeration out of the oil just a little bit, enough to get it to run. So yeah, just taking a look at that. Those are intake cam readings there. So intake cam. It's not inside cam, it's intake cam. So it's moving, you know, intake cam, they're requesting it to move, and it's moving now. I guess the biggest question is it going to move the way it wants it to? And it is doing that, so that's good. I'm going to say that has taken care of our current problem. We're going to go ahead and come back and do an oil change on this thing. I don't know if this one has a cartridge filter or a spin-on filter. If it has the spin-on filter, we're going to cut the thing apart and see if there's any shavings, any plastic parts in the filter. Do an evaluation. We'll do a look at our oil when we drain it and see what kind of oil comes out of it. We'll see, assess the damage, see if it did a lot of damage or if it did not. Now we're looking at 5 degrees. Well, I brought you guys over here and it moved. Yeah, okay. So it is moving the way it wants it to. And that's good. And everything seems to be working. So let's bring it in on the lift, and you guys we'll drain the oil. And first oil change video that I've had on the channel. So you guys got to watch me change oil. We'll see what it looks like. Get this thing on the lift, and I'll bring you guys back when we start to drain the oil. Almost forgot. We were going to check the oil level before we drain it. So let's do that right now. It's not going to be completely accurate, but it's okay. I just kind of want to see how low it actually was. By a close estimate here, it's still, that's not even full yet. It is, the level is right there. This is the full mark. This is where it was at. I'm gonna pull the filter out right away. This is a cartridge filter, so no need to cut it apart. We do want to look at what this filter looks like. The reason we're doing this is we want to evaluate whether there's been any permanent damage done to this thing. Oh, that is black oil. Very black oil. It's got the glitter. I don't know if it shows up on camera or not, but there's a lot of glitter. Oops, right here. I don't know if that shows up or not. There's some chunks. Yeah, there's some chunks in the oil filter. If you take a look here. So it's definitely not the worst I've seen, but this engine has suffered lots of wear. Let's get this thing up in the air, see what it looks like when we pop the drain plug. We're gonna go ahead and just kind of lay this thing right here. That way we know for sure not to start it up. I'm trying to do two things at once here. So it wasn't completely out of oil because I got the wrong socket, because it was at, you know, adding 3 quarts brought it up to add, which means that we should be able to get it full with another quart or so. So about 4 quarts low. It had about 2 quarts of oil in the oil pan. Ooh-wee. All right, you're not going to work, are you? All right, I can't do this one-handed. I mean, it's dark. This definitely is dark. I don't see a lot of shavings. I didn't see any big chunks come off. So here's what I'm going to recommend to the customer. Keep track of the oil level. Make sure that it stays full. Drive it. I don't see anything. I mean, I've seen some shavings in there, but we're not going to recommend a new engine on this thing because there's not enough big chunks of shavings in there. I don't see any big bearing material. I think it's had some wear, but not enough that would justify, in my opinion, to put another engine in this thing. Now, could I technically say, yeah, it's gonna need a new engine? I could, but that's not how we do things around here. I would not feel good about that. That's how some dealerships and some shops do it, because you make money off of the engine, you make money off of the labor. That's a whole other can of worms we're not going to open up in this video. All right. The reason it's on my mind is because it just happened to a customer, and I'm not very happy about what happened. But let's get this thing an oil change, and we shall see what happens. But that's just going to fix the problem. I mean, that's going to... The engine's going to run, it's going to run good. Whether it's going to run for a long time, that I don't know. Because, well, oil is essential to the life of the engine. All right, enough rambling. Let's get this thing buttoned up, and I'll let you know what the customer decides and if I get any more information on it.